What's going on, everyone? We're going to quickly eulogize Dick Cheney. So obviously, respect and peace to the Cheney family. Anytime we see someone who I think served in politics who passes away, it's like, it's 2025. The guy wasn't Hitler, right? Even though I'm a progressive voter, usually I consider myself slightly conservative centrist. So, anyways, Dick Cheney lived a fascinating life that played into a lot of politically and socially, a lot of the delusional stuff that Republicans have been talking about for like 5 decades. And so he pretty much jumped straight into politics, and he often gets characterized as this guy who was like a business politician, and this is because he did lead Halliburton, which is one of the largest oil operations companies in the world, in the United States as well. And these connections between defense contractors and stuff like this. And so I'll push that to the side, but here's one of the things Dick Cheney competed on geopolitically and on the international stage is Cheney told us what Republicans have been telling us. Well, maybe there's a day where when we look at the US economy and we look at energy demands and we look at actual constraints of waging war or holding power internationally, there is a day where the United States will or will not be able to sort of support its interests through the use of hard power and soft power. And Dick Cheney was right in that sort of space. You can picture, on Main Street, you got people with mortgages, so you have to have an economy that's working. And off Main Street, off Wall Street, if you can't afford, or people are complaining about how much it takes to fuel a Hummer, a war like Iraq and Afghanistan wouldn't be viable. It just wouldn't be viable. You wouldn't talk about it. And so Dick Cheney really lived there for a lot of his career with, I think it was the American Enterprise Institute, Halliburton, and then obviously roles in the White House. So he always wanted to have that sort of executive power within that discussion. And yeah, it's just interesting, the reason I say this is sort of a delusional way to be. Again, this is one of those things that like Cheney would have probably loved to talk about. Is it's like, well, there's always been money, as if you go back to the Roman Empire, if you go back to Mesopotamia, there was money, there was wealth. And there was also resource constraints, and that's not what actually produces peace. And so it's like, if you want to talk directly into that problem, it's like you can do that, but you're lying to people. You're lying to people